8.4 Volume and surface area. So volume is the measure of the capacity of a three-dimensional figure. It is the amount of material you can put inside a three-dimensional figure. So it's like the volume is like how much water can you put in a water bottle. Surface area is the sum of the areas of the surface of the three-dimensional figure. It refers to the total area that is on the outside surface of the figure. So if you had the water bottle, the plastic or glass or aluminum on the outside, that's your surface area. Solid geometry is the study of three-dimensional solid figures, also called space figures. Volume of three-dimensional figures are measured in cubic units, such as cubic feet or cubic meters. Surface areas of three-dimensional figures are measured in square units, such as square feet or square meters. So these are all the formulas that we're going to use, volume and surface area formulas. So we talk about a rectangular solid, a cube, a cylinder, a cone, and a sphere. So you're like, well, do I have to study all of these formulas? No. Whatever formulas you use on the review are the formulas you will use for the test. So whatever formulas you write out and use on the review, those are the ones you should study for the test. No surprises. Whatever's on the review is going to be on the test. Okay, so now you know what to study. I highly suggest you do not cheat and you actually study the formulas. Because if this were in class, I would not give you the formulas. You do have to know them. Alright, we'll talk about them as we go through each example. So let's determine the volume of the surface area. Our first figure is a rectangular solid. So let's find the volume first. So the volume of a rectangular solid is length times width times height. So let's identify our length, our width, and our height. So our length is 10. Our width is 2. And our height is 5. Honestly, it doesn't matter, but label. Tell yourself, this is what I'm making L, this is what I'm making W, this is what I am making H. Just label it, but it does not matter what it is. Just label, give it a label. So let's plug it in. We have volume equals length, which is 10, times width, which is 2, times height, which is 5. So we have 10 times 10, so we get 100. The unit is feet, and since this is volume, it's cubed. So the volume is 100 feet cubed. So now that we did that, let's go ahead and find our surface area. So we have our formula for surface area. It's surface area equals 2LW plus 2WH plus 2LH. This is why I had you label L, W, and H, so you know where to plug it in. Because if you don't, you could mess up where you're plugging it in, so it's good just to label it. So we just take that out, we take out the error. Alright, let's plug it in. So we have 2 times L, which is 10, times W, which is 2, plus 2 times W, which is 2, times H, which is 5, plus 2L, which is 10, times H, which is 5. So we're going to simplify each of these, or you can plug it into your calculator. So we do 10 times 2 is 20, 20 times 2 is 40, 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 5 is 20. 2 times 10 is 20, and 20 times 5 is 100. We add them all up, so we get our surface area is 160 feet squared. Surface area is squared because it's the outside. Alright, let's move on to the next shape. So the next shape is a cylinder. So since this is a cylinder, we know what two formulas to use. It's V equals pi r squared h. Alright, let's determine what everything is. So our radius is 3. And our height is 7. So let's plug it in. Always label what each variable means. So we have pi times 3 squared times 7. So we simplify. 3 squared is 9. 9 times 7 is 63. So we have pi times 63. But that looks weird, so let's rewrite it, which is 63 pi. So you gotta use your calculator, and we get volume is approximately 197.92 inches cubed. Alright, let's do our surface area. So our formula for surface area is 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. So let's plug everything in that we're supposed to. We have 2 pi r, which is 3, h, which is 7, plus 2 pi r squared, so 3 squared. Alright, let's simplify. We have 2 pi, 7 times 3 is 21, plus 2 pi times 3 squared, which is 9. I'm going to multiply these numbers together, so 2 times 21, and we get 42 pi. Plus, and then I'm going to multiply these two numbers together to get 2 times 9, which is 18 pi. Combine like terms, so 42 pi plus 18 pi is 60 pi. And we get surface area is approximately 188.50 inches squared. Why did I put the 0 there? So you see how there's 2 after the decimal? 2 after the decimal? That's why. The test is multiple choice, so you won't have to remember that. That's actually a trigonomic thing and a chemistry thing. It's called significant digits, but that's why I did it. Alright, let's move on to the cone. Alright, I will never have you work with a cone for the test, so I'll tell you that now. Not for surface area. For volume, yes. Surface area, nope. Absolutely not. So let's do the volume. So we have 1/3 pi r squared h. So let's determine our h and our r. So our h is 7, and our r is 3. So we can plug them into our formula. We have volume equals 1/3 pi r, which is 3 squared, times h, which is 7. So we have 1/3 pi. 3 squared is 9. Bring down the 7. So we have 1/3 pi. I'm going to multiply these together. So 9 times 7 is 63. Now I'm going to put the fraction underneath the 63. So it becomes 63 over 3 pi. We can do 63 divided by 3. We can, because 63 divided by 3 is 21. So we have 21 pi, and that is approximately 65.97 inches cubed. If you have a TI-84, you could plug all of that into your calculator the exact way it looks, and you get the same answer. Alright, we found volume. Let's go ahead and find surface area. For your homework, you will have to do surface area for a cone, but for the test, absolutely not. Alright, we're talking about a cone, so let's do our formula. We have surface area equals pi r squared plus pi r times the square root of r squared plus h squared. Okay, so we have our r and our h. We determined them up there. Our h is 7, our r is 3. So we have pi r squared, that's 3 squared, plus pi times r, which is 3, times the square root of r squared, so 3 squared, plus h squared, so 7 squared. Alright, simplify the radical before you do anything outside of it. Like, don't distribute that. Alright, let's simplify. So we have 3 squared is 9. So 3 squared is 9, and 9 times pi is 9 pi, plus pi times 3, which is 3 pi, times the square root of 3 squared, which is 9, plus 7 squared, which is 49. I'm going to add these up. So we have 9 pi plus 3 pi times the square root of 9 times, or blah, 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 9 plus 49, which is 58. Alright, you need to plug this into your calculator. Regardless of whatever calculator you have, you need to plug that in, because this is not algebra. You do not know how to put that in, or do that by hand, and that's why I don't test you on it. But plug that into your calculator, or just like Google a calculator and plug it into any calculator to get to the answer. And we get surface area is approximately 100.05 inches squared. Alright, we have our r. It is 6, so we are going to plug it into our formula of v equals 4 over 3 pi r cubed. So we have 4 over 3 pi, and then 6 cubed. My bad. Alright, let's cube 6. So 6 cubed comes out to 216. So I'm going to multiply the pi to 216. So we have 4/3 times 216 pi. Since we're working with fractions, I want to make everything a fraction. So we have 4/3 times, because parentheses just means times, 216 pi over 3. Over 1. Over 1. Multiply straight across. So 4 times 216 pi, we get 864 pi over 3. Plug that into your calculator exactly the way it looks, and we get volume is approximately 904.78 centimeters cubed. Alright, let's do surface area. So the formula for surface area is 4 pi r squared, and we already have our r, so 4 pi 6 squared. Let's square 6, so 4 pi times 36. I'm going to multiply 4 times 36 to get 144 pi. And we plug that into our calculator to get surface area is approximately 452.39 centimeters squared. Example 2, silage storage. Gordon has 3 silos on his farm. What is the total capacity of all 3 silos in cubic feet? And then we'll answer B after. Let's do part A. So what is the total capacity of all 3 silos in cubic feet? So we're talking about 3 silos, and we want to know the capacity. Capacity means volume. So we need to find the volume of each silo. And each silo is a cylinder. So we're going to use the cylinder formula. So we're going to use the formula volume equals pi r squared h, because they're cylinders. So we have our first silo, which is the smallest one. So our first silo, we have r equals 6, because the radius is half of the diameter, so half of 12 is 6. And then we have our height is 40. So let's plug it in. We have volume equals pi times r, so 6 squared, times h, which is 40. We're going to simplify. So square 6, which is 36, times 40. So 36 times 40, we get 1440 pi. And that is approximately 45 to 3.89 feet cubed. So that's the volume of the first cylinder. Now we have to find the volume of the second cylinder, the middle one. So for our second one, we have same problem, just different numbers. We have the radius is half of 14, which is 7. Our height is 50, so let's plug it in. We have volume equals pi times 7 squared times 50. So 7 squared is 49. We do 49 times 50, which is 2,450 pi. So we get approximately 7,696.90 feet cubed. Now we find the volume of the biggest one, the third one. So the third one, our radius is half of 18, which is 9. Our height is 60. So we do volume equals pi times 9 squared times 60. So 9 squared is 81 times 60. 81 times 60 is 4,860 pi. So we get volume is approximately 15,268.14 feet cubed. Alright, we found the volume of each. Now we need to find the total capacity of all three. So to find the total means plus. So for the total capacity, we need to add them all together. So we have 4523.89 plus 7696.90 plus 15268.14, and we get our total volume equals, so add them all together. I'll write it in a different color so we can see it. 27,488.93 feet cubed. So that is the total volume of all three silos, all three cylinders. So that was part A. Alrighty, part B is asking if Gordon fills all three silos and feeds his cattle 150 cubic feet of silage per day, in how many days will all three silos be empty? So total capacity, our total is 27,488.93 feet cubed. It tells us that the animals eat 150 cubic feet a day. So the cows eat 150 cubic feet per day. So we divide to see how many days this will last. So when we divide, we get 183.26. So in 183 days, that's all you get. So in about 183 days. So if you fill it all, the feed in each of all the silos, it'll last you 183 days. Alright, polyhedra. A polyhedron is a closed surface formed by union of polygonal regions. So it's like multiple polygons that create a 3D shape. A prism is a special type of polyhedron whose bases are congruent polygons and whose sides are parallelograms. These parallelogram regions are called the lateral faces of the prism. If all the lateral faces are rectangles, the prism is said to be a right prism. So you see how like opposite sides are equal? Volume of a prism. Volume equals big B times h, where B is the area of the base and h is the height. So volume of a hexagonal prism fish tank. Frank's fish tank is in the shape of a hexagonal prism. Use the dimensions shown in the figure and the fact that 1 gallon. So I need to rewrite this. I messed up there. 1 gallon equals 231 inches cubed. The 3 got misplaced, so just rewrite that. So 1 gallon equals 231 inches cubed. Determine the volume of the fish tank in cubic inches. Okay, so we have our fish tank, and since this is a prism, we know it's a prism because opposite sides, they look the same, right? Opposite sides, they look the same. So that's how we know it's a prism. So since we know it's a prism, we have to use volume equals big B times h. So big B, that's the area of the base. So the area of the base, we're talking about this. This is the base. So the base is a hexagon. but I don't know how to find the area of a hexagon. That's never been a formula. So let's break this shape down. A hexagon is nothing but two trapezoids. So a hexagon is made out of two trapezoids. I know how to find the area of a trapezoid. So area of a trapezoid is area equals 1/2 height times b1 plus b2. That's from earlier in chapter 8. So what I'm going to do is, since I have two trapezoids, I'm just going to find the area of one trapezoid and then multiply it times 2, and that's the area of the hexagon. Alright, we need to determine our h and our b1 and our b2. So our h is the height, which is 24. Sorry, you'll see it adds up to 24 later on. Alright, so we need to find the height of our trapezoid. So the height of the trapezoid is 8 inches. And then we need to find base 1 and base 2. So one of the bases, right here, that's the same distance as the height, which is 8. So b1 is 8. Now we need to find b2. So it's just double because it's double the radius. So 8 plus 8 is 16. Alright, now we can plug it into our formula. So we have area equals 1/2 height, which is 8, times 16, or 8 plus 16. Simplify the parentheses first. So, well, we can also do half of 8. We know half of 8 is 4. So 8 plus 16, we get 24. Multiply. So 24 times 4, and we get 96. 96 inches squared, because we're talking about a trapezoid. So because we know a trapezoid, or excuse me, a hexagon is two trapezoids. So we know that we just need to multiply this by 2, because then we'll get the whole thing, because it's two trapezoids. So the area of our hexagon is 2 times the area of the trapezoid. So that's 2 times 96, which we get 192 inches squared. So we found B. That's what B is. It's 192. Now we can plug it into our formula. So we have B, which represents 192, times the height of the whole thing. So the height of the whole tank itself is 24. So 192 times 24, and we get 4,608 inches cubed. So that is the volume of this fish tank. Determine the volume of the fish tank in gallons. We're going to round it to the nearest gallon. So since we know the fact, we know that 1 gallon equals 231 inches cubed. If we have a total, we do total divided by how much a gallon is. So 4,608 inches cubed divided by 231 inches cubed will give us how many gallons this fish tank is. So you divide, and we get approximately 19.95, but it'll just round us to the nearest gallon, so that's 20-gallon tank. It is a 20-gallon tank. A pyramid is a polyhedron with one base. All but one face intersects all a common vertex. So you know a pyramid when you see it. Volume of the pyramid is V equals 1/3 capital B times H, where B is the area of the base and H is the height. It's basically the same formula, except we have a 1/3 now. So we need to find big B. So big B, remember, that's the base. So the base is a square. So we know how to find area of a square. So area of a square is side squared. So 5 squared. 5 squared is 25 meters squared. Okay, so we found B. Now we need to find the height of the pyramid. The height of the pyramid is 6. So we're going to plug it in. We have 1/3 times big B, which is 25, times H, which is 6. Alright, there's an easy way to do this. I'm going to do 1/3 and 6. Why? Because it's 6 divided by 3, and we know that's 2. So 6 divided by 3 is 2, so we have 2 times 25. And we get 50. Sorry, you know my 5s are crap. 50 meters cubed. So that is the volume of this pyramid. Alright, let's convert. So let's convert 1 cubic yard to cubic feet. So let's just break down like what a yard is. So 1 yard is 3 feet. And so 1 cubic yard, since it's cubed, isn't that like 3 times? So we're going to write it 3 times. So we'll have 3 times 3 times 3, and we get 27 feet cubed. Alright, let's do B. So we want to convert 8.93 cubic yards to cubic feet. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply our 8.93 times cubic feet. So since it's cubed, we're going to multiply it by 3 times because of the 3. So 3 times 3 times 3. And we get 240.3 feet cubed. Isn't 3 times 3 times 3 just 27? You're probably like, why don't we just multiply everything by 27? You're right, we're just going to multiply by 27 because 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. So that's kind of like our base. Alright, we want to convert 749.25 feet cubed to cubic yards. So we're going the opposite way. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So we have 749.25 feet cubed divided by 27 feet cubed. And we get approximately 27.75 square yards.